Hi, welcome back to Sarah Lily Makes. My name is Sarah, and this is my journaling space here on YouTube where I like to talk about and document and share all the things I have been making. Today's episode is going to be about all the things I have made, knitting specifically in 2025. So if you're interested to know what I've been up to this past year, I invite you to grab a project that you're working on and let's get started. I am going to do my best to edit as little as possible so I can get this out as quickly as possible. So please bear with me. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of fluff or intro, but I do want to mention that today is January 14th, so I'm a little bit late in getting this recorded and uploaded. So I'm going to try my best to edit as little as possible and so I can get it out as quickly as possible because it feels like I'm always late to the party and I just want to get this uploaded as soon as possible. I'll reflect a little bit before I actually talk about my knits. So in 2025, I finished 23 finished objects. Comparatively, and I don't really want to say I'm comparing myself to anybody, but I'm comparing myself to myself. I knitted less than I did in the past year and the year prior. And at the beginning of 2025, I said I wanted to make 25 finished objects. I didn't do that, which is totally fine. I'm content with what I made this year, and I feel like that's a theme for this past year, rather, contentment. And I think that I'm happy with what I ended up finishing. I feel like I did make a lot, not compared to my previous self in 2024 and 2023, but that's fine. Life ebbs and flows, and I feel like with knitting, it ebbs and flows as well, and I'm just going along with it. So, yeah. One of my goals, like I said, I wanted to make 25 things, and I think that really was the only thing I mentioned. For 2025, I didn't really make a set of, make 9. I didn't make a list of plans. And I feel that was okay, and I feel happy with what I finished, with what I made. And another thing, I don't remember if I said this verbally aloud, but I did want to make more for family members, and I feel like I did pretty good on that as well for this year. So those are really the only two things if I want to reflect on anything, making more for my family, and the 25 things, which I didn't end up doing, but I was perfectly fine with what I did end up making. So let's just get into it. I'm going to do a try on. I feel like I did a try on pretty recently because I didn't upload anything in 2025 until the very end of the year, near the very end of the year. So I feel like this might be a bit repetitive. So I will try my best to be as concise as possible and not be too repetitive and share the same information over again. If you are interested in these things that I'm talking about, I have most of them talked about in the last 2 episodes. So I'm just going to go into, I'll talk about the pattern, the yarn, when I started, when I finished it. I am going to go chronologically. So I'm going to start it with my first finished object, and then, the last finished object of the year. And then how I feel about the pattern, how I feel about the yarn, and will I make it again? And I think really that's about it, because I feel like I went into a fair amount of detail on most of these projects recently. All right, I'm going to try on my first finished object, which is something I made for myself. And that is the Cornelia Cardigan from Sandnes Garn. If you're new, there's going to be a theme. I knit a lot of Sandnes Garn patterns, and I really love their designs. I love their aesthetic. I just love their patterns, their yarn. I enjoy their designs. So that's also going to be something that is consistent with me, I guess. All right, I'll try this on. And this is the Cornelia Cardigan. Okay, we'll step back so that I can share this a bit better. I'm standing, and I put my camera at the highest point that it could stand, my camera stand, and I kind of regret that now because it means I have to go back even further, and I don't really like doing that. But okay, this is a all over cable texture and lace work cardigan from Sandnes Garn. I started this in 2024, fall of 2024, and I finished it. This was the first thing I finished in 2025, and I finished it January 26th. And I really, really love this. I've worn this so much, and I've washed it a few times because I wear it quite a bit. And a little bit about the pattern really fast. It's a top-down construction drop shoulder. You do the back, then you pick up to the front, and then you work flat all the way down, work on the sleeves, work on the button band, and that's it. But it is a gorgeous all over lace. It has lace detail here and this lace panel here, and then a couple of cables along the body and also on the sleeves. I feel like I might need to lower my camera a bit. I hope that's better. Still gonna have to go back. I don't know. I messed up. I made it a really good length for my sleeves, I think. I do like to pull my sleeves up to my palm of my hand, and I can't really do that with this without aggressively pulling on it, but nevertheless, it's a good length. It's at my wrist bracelet length, and for everyday wear, it's a good length for me. I feel like as much as I like my sleeves really long, it does get in the way a bit, and it's hard to just do things around the house or with super long sleeves. But they are cozy, and I feel like this is a good length for this one. And there's a time and a place. So yeah, I'm fine with how these ended up. There is some pilling on the yarn. So I used Alpakka wool and Alpakka Folgetrad from Sandnes Garn, which is the recommended yarn, with the recommended yarn and recommended needle. There is a little bit of pilling that's not significant, but it's just to note. That just means I've been wearing it and it's getting some love, so I don't mind pilling, and I don't regularly depill my knits unless it's my daughter's, because she kind of roughhouses with her knits. So if it does get a little pilly, her stuff I will depill regularly, but my knits not so much because I'm fine with how they look. Yeah, so this is a really fun pattern, and I highly recommend this pattern. This was pattern 2409-08 from Sandnes Garn's Fall Collection 2024. And yeah, I love this color. I feel like I could use more red. When I started knitting this, I felt like I could use more red in my closet, and I feel like I did okay on that this past year. So yeah, the color is scarlet red in both the Alpakka wool and the Alpakka Folgetrad. And yeah, would I knit this again? Yes, I would knit this again. I loved knitting this. I love wearing this, and I love knitting this. I think I need to redo my button placement. I mean, because it's fine when it's buttoned up, and I talked about this before too, that I put my buttons as close to the garment as possible, and it's probably not the best idea because it kind of gaps between the other buttons. But yeah, I think it's okay if I'm wearing it buttoned up, which I mostly do. So if I want to wear this unbuttoned, I probably need to adjust the button placement on this, and I'm not really in the headspace to do that, so that's fine. Not that big a deal. Yes, I would knit this again. They have a sweater pattern, and they have children's patterns with this design that I would gladly jump on and knit if I didn't have a knit list that's a mile long. So yeah, I highly recommend this pattern, Cornelia pattern from Sandnes Garn, and that was my first finished object. I started this October 22nd, 2024, and I finished it in January 26, 2025. I'm only going to talk about the things that I finished, even if I started it like previous years. And I think really I only had one thing, and this was it that I brought over from 2024. Okay, let's move on to the second thing. I'll keep this on because the second thing I made is a sweater for my son. And this is another Sandnes Garn pattern. This pattern I started on his birthday, which is January 1st, and I finished it January 31st. And this is the big smiley sweater from Sandnes Garn, pattern 2303-10. And I knit a lot for my younger son. He just turned 14, January 1st. And I haven't made him his sweater yet, this for his birthday. And I need to remedy that as soon as possible. But I make a lot for him because he wears all the things that I make for him. And he likes them. He wears his knits. I'll probably run by here in a minute. But he wears his knits very well. And he just gives it to me when it's dirty and I wash it for him. But yeah, it's really cute. It's been folded up, so that's why there's a line in the middle. This is knitted with Cos from Sandnes Garn, which is the recommended yarn. And it's big smiley sweater because it's supposed to have like an embroidered smiley face in the middle. I just didn't do it. It was fine. This is cute as it is. So it's a drop shoulder construction, a very basic construction. It's just a square, not even a trapezoid, not a square, sorry, a rectangle that you cast on and you knit down, and then you do the shaping when you pick up for, it's hard to see. Yes, I know, I am sorry. When you pick up for the shoulders, you do the shaping. And there are a few patterns from Sandnes Garn that I've knitted that is similarly constructed where it's a rectangle, not like a trapezoid. You just knit a rectangle straight down, then you break the yarn, then you pick up, and the shaping is done here. So it's just a rectangle at your back. And honestly, it's so straightforward and basic, and it's easy to knit that, yeah, I definitely would knit this again. There's a lot of other patterns that I want to make for him, notably some of the recent ones that just came out. But yeah, I would make it again. I could make it again. I just wouldn't because I have a lot of other things that I want to make for him. But yes, great pattern, very straightforward, very easy, very basic. The colorway that I used is Porcelain in Cos from Sandnes Garn. That was my second finished object, and I finished that on January 31st. I will change because the next thing that I have is for myself, and that is the Wendy sweater. Now let's put that on. When I talked about this sweater in my second to last episode ago, I said I didn't really like this. I didn't like how it fit, and I just didn't like the overall fit of it. It is a saddle shoulder design, and you're doing a ton of increases at where the saddle shoulders are. It's really hard. It's not the best lighting. I'm sorry. But yeah, you're doing a ton of increases here, and you're doing it on the right side and the wrong side, which if you are familiar with the saddle shoulder, that's kind of how it is. If you're knitting a saddle shoulder, you're knitting increases on the inside and the outside, the right side and the wrong side of the fabric. And it's just so many increases that this sweater it's very wide on me. It has a lot of positive ease, and I'm not sure that I generally like an oversized sweater, but I feel like I didn't really like how this looked. But when I talked about this in my last episode, I received a lot of kind comments about this garment, and I had said I was considering frogging it and repurposing the yarn. But honestly, I think I'm going to keep it the way it is and just force myself to kind of get used to it and keep wearing it. It's cute. I just feel like the massive amount of positive ease here is just a bit too much for me. This is where my body is, and this is on both sides. It's that much positive ease, and I'm not keen on that too much. I mean, like I said, I do like some positive ease. I do like some oversized knits, but I don't know. But I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna not frog it, and I will just try to get used to it. I feel like it's just a little bulky here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how. So I did not really wear this, and I would not knit this again. This was probably one of my lower knits for the year, but I really enjoy the yarn combination that I use, and it is Pure Gint and Tin Silk Mohair, and I use the color Lemon Icing, which I really like that color. I have some more of this color Lemon Icing in a different yarn base, I think Sunday, and Tin Silk Mohair, and I want to make something for my daughter with it. So that's a plan for later me, 2026 me. But yeah, I wouldn't knit this again. This particular garment, I would use a yarn again because I use Pure Gint all the time, and I use Tin Silk all the time. And I am happy with my yarn choice. I'm just getting used to wearing this. So this did not get very much wear. Maybe once I wore this past year, and I finished this in March. I started this March 3rd and I finished this March 24th. So I knit nothing in February. Well, I didn't finish anything in February. I'm sure I knitted in February, but yeah, this is the Wendy sweater chunky edition. And on the model that on the pattern pictures, the sweater does look, it looks very much like how it looks on me. So I know that is how it's supposed to look. I thought maybe I had just messed up or something, but I didn't. I knitted it according to pattern, and it's not the best fit, I think. I like the color, and I just need to get used to wearing it again. Yeah, so I only wore this once or twice, if that. And yeah, that's it for the Wendy sweater chunky edition. I will not knit this again, and I will not knit the DK weight version either because I just don't like the look of it, the fit of it. Okay, that is my third finished object, and the next thing I have is another Sandnes Garn pattern, and that is the Lia Cardigan from Sandnes Garn. Let's see, I'm gonna try this on now. I love this. I definitely wore this quite a few times this spring. When did I start this and finish? March 26th to April 14th. This is a short or elbow length cardigan. It's a boxy fit. It is a European shoulder construction. It's very similar to the Maggie cardigan, and it is a DK weight / sport weight. It is knitted with 3.5 millimeter needles and using a DK weight yarn. So I love the gauge of this. I knitted one more thing, I think, this past year that with a similar gauge that I really loved as well. But this is a fun knit and a fun piece to have and wear. And I really love this color. This is the Petite Knit Mint Green Double Sunday, I'm pretty sure. It's mint. I can't remember if it's Petite Knit or not. Let me double check. Yes, it is the Petite Knit Double Sunday. Yes, like I said, this is the European shoulder construction. It's hard to see, but it's the 2-stitch where you're doing increases on the inside and the outside, creating that trapezoid, and then you're picking up at the shoulders, knitting down, knitting flat, joining on the underarm, picking up the sleeves. And I knit this pretty according to pattern, I'm pretty sure. And this is just another favorite. I feel like I have a lot of the things I made this year are favorites. And I feel like that's why I feel content with what I have ended up making this year. So this was a favorite. I wore this quite a bit, and I would make this again. I feel like I could use this in multiple different colors in my closet and be happy. It is a short sleeved or elbow length sleeved woolly cardigan, which I have no objection to. I know wool in spring and summer is not everyone's cup of tea, but I personally love wool, non-superwash wool, in warmer months when it's not like super hot. Like if it's above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, no, probably not. But yeah, yes, I would make this again. I really loved this. I loved knitting this, and I loved wearing it. And it has a 2x2 rib detail on the cuff and on the hem. And I seemed to really enjoy 2x2 this year, I think. Yeah, I have a few projects that feature 2x2 rib that I really enjoyed working on this year. So this is my fourth finished object, the Lia Cardigan from Sandnes Garn. This came out last spring. I'm pretty sure this was last spring. I have fuzz flying all over. I knitted it according to pattern. And yeah, that's it. The Lia Cardigan from Sandnes Garn. Okay, this was a favorite. This was hands down definitely one of my favorite knits of 2025. This is the Cleo Sweater, which is, yes, Sandnes Garn. It is knit with Lena on 3.5 millimeter needles, and it's a pattern that they released this past year. Sandnes Garn released this pattern in 2025 for summer with a bunch of summer patterns. So this is a top-down drop shoulder summer knit with long sleeves, long bell sleeves, and it features a fold over hem and fold over cuffs on the sleeves, if that focuses, and also on the body. And then you have the like sporty kind of detail at the neck, which I just need to do more of because this is such a fun little detail. And I really love this. I wore this. I wore this so much this past year. I have good memories with this. I have good memories knitting this. Our family was visiting my son for his birthday in SoCal. He is a student in SoCal. And I remember I bought this project. I worked on it on the trip. And then I also wore it to a concert with my daughter. So this has some good memories held in this sweater. And I really like it. I love the overall fit. It's it is boxy, and the sleeves are very bell shaped. There's no increases on the sleeves. You just don't decrease. There are no decreases or increases. When you bind off, to do the fold over, you just change colors. You don't go down a needle size. When you do fold over, to get it to kind of cinch in a little neater, you normally go down a needle size. You don't with this to keep that shape. And I just really like it. It's just, yeah. I feel like I don't have too much to say about this because it was a favorite. I just love all the extra added details. So you switch the color when you do the fold over on the inside, and then here it's the same. There's an end right there. When I cut my ends with Lena, I leave about an inch on the inside because if I don't do that, it will kind of wiggle its way out onto the right side of the fabric, and I don't really like that. So I just normally leave an inch. And I think really I don't have too much to say about this. It took me months to finish this. I started this April 17th, which is my son's birthday, which is when we drove down. So yes, I remember. I cast on his birthday. And I finished this May 20th. And I just really like this. This was a favorite. I'm so happy with this. I wore the heck out of this. And I just love Lena for summer. For spring and summer, but particularly summer because it is a plant-based yarn. It is cotton linen viscose, and I just really like it. I have plans for more Lena garments this coming year, summer. And yeah, it's one of my favorite yarns to use for the warmer climate here. Okay, so I knit this with Sandnes Garn Lena in Kit and Spicy Orange. The red is the Spicy Orange and the neutral is the Kit. I knitted according to pattern. I don't think I changed anything. I knitted on 3.5mm needles, which was the recommended needle size, which I mentioned I really loved knitting this gauge this past year. So I feel like I've been kind of getting a little tired of it, but that is neither here nor there. Okay, there is a skirt pattern, like a mini-ish skirt length pattern, and I bought the yarn to make that. So when I bought this, so I still have some yarn left over, and I would like to get to making that, but I feel, I don't know, it'll look like, I don't know, I don't know, maybe. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. It's okay. Okay, my next finished object, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my 6th finished object. I am in summer already because I barely knitted the beginning of the year. I feel like I mentioned this previously a few times actually, but I just lost my knitting energy this past year. There's just a lot going on. We ended up moving around the time I was making this to this house that we're currently in, and that was a lot. 2025 was just a lot. So, yeah. This is the Millie top from Sandnes Garn. Yes, it is another Sandnes Garn. I knitted this with Sandnes Garn Tin Lena in the colorway Matcha, and I really liked this a lot. So I knitted the Millie sweater, not last year, not 2025, but in 2024, and I loved that. That one is knit with Lena on 3.5. This Millie top is knit with Tin Lena on 3mm needles. Oh, I didn't put my needle size on it, but I used 3mm needles for this. I remember because I did use the Tin Lena. It's a fingering weight tee. And I would make this again. I forgot to talk about the others. Yes, I would make the Cleo Sweater again. 100%. I would make that again. Okay, I would make this again. I want to make this again. There's a dress version. There's a dress version. It came out last year. I have the pattern. I have the yarn. I want to make the dress version. And I hope I can get to it because it's a gorgeous color that I picked. And I want to make it. So, we'll see. I don't know that this is the best color for me, but I'm okay with it. I wore it a ton. I wore this a ton. It's kind of a boat neck style, and the finish is, it's just a raw cast on edge. Wait, is it? No, it's not. I lied. You do like a 2-stitch I-cord at all the finishing. I am lying, aren't I? I think you are supposed to do a 2-stitch I-cord on the finishing. I just didn't. I can't remember. Oh, yes, I did. There's a 2-stitch I-cord at the neck, which honestly, it's like barely there. It's barely there. Like what's the point of it even? But that's okay. It actually neatens it a little bit more than just the raw cast on edge. And I did leave the sleeves with the raw bind off edge. So, and the hem as well. I didn't do anything. I didn't add any I-cord edge on the other finishings. And I think that is the pattern. Nothing really particular about this. I enjoyed it. I would make it again. I want to make the dress. Yeah. I said I made the sweater in 2024 and I loved that. And my daughter stole it. And her hair is red and it's a white top. And she got red dye on the back of it. So I give it to her. It's hers now. Yeah. I'll make the Millie sweater again too. the long sleeve version, because the construction of that is very similar to, it's similar to this. It's the same design, it's the same pattern, just a DK weight on 3.5 and long sleeves, and it's the bell sleeves, and you do increases on that one, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I am rambling and going off. I have another knit, summer knit. I ended up giving this to my daughter because it does not fit me. My weight just went like that this past year, and when I made this, by the time I finished it, when I made this, I went into this with my bust measurement for my size. I knitted the size according to my bust measurement that I wanted, and by the time I finished it, I was just not fitting in it. So this is the Wave Tee, which is a pattern from Testknit. I knitted this with Ticklina from Sandnes Garn in the color 7213. I had originally wanted to use this yarn for a different long sleeve project, I think, and I ended up just using it on this because I really love this color and I really wanted this color for something for myself, but I ended up just giving it to my daughter because it does not fit me, so I will not be putting it on. I was on gauge, and it's supposed to be a more neutral-ish ease fitting garment, but I just didn't like how it fit me, so yeah, I didn't. It's fine, you know, that's life. Like I said, life ebbs and flows, and so did my weight this year. This is a boat neck construction, and it's pretty straightforward, very simple. There is this partially raglan. I can't remember very much about this because it's been 6 months. I knitted this June 21st to the 29th. I didn't gain that much weight in that short amount of time. It just didn't fit me well. So, yeah, I did make the size medium with Ticklina from Sandnes Garn, and I just didn't really, I don't know, the finished garment wasn't it for me, so this isn't mine anymore, but it's a cute knit, it's a cute garment, it's holding up really well. It's very basic, very straightforward, minimal finishing. You just bind off in the round, and I don't remember, there are decreases on this. Maybe 2. Yeah, 2 decreases, I think, on the sleeves. But yeah, I would make it again. I feel like I would probably go up a size if I were to make this again because I didn't really like how snug it fit me. So, like I said, I gave it to my daughter. It's not mine anymore. All right, the next thing I finished was the Vega Tee from Lia Knit, and I knitted this with Sandnes Garn Lena. I will try it on right now. Okay, this is the Vega Tee from Lia Knit. I knitted this with, like I said, Sandnes Garn Lena, and I used bright green. So the green is 8236. I'm pretty sure this is like a petite knit green in double Sunday and other yarn bases. This, I love this. I would make this again. 10-10. Would make this again. The color is very bright. But I don't mind the color at all. I really love this garment. I love the fit of it. There's also minimal finishing. You just bind off on the sleeves, in the round. You bind off on the body in a round. But you do pick up for a stockinette rolled collar at the neck when you are finished. So it's got this really neat shoulder construction. I think it's called contiguous. I am currently knitting another pattern from Lia Knit, which is the same similar-ish shoulder construction, and I really just love it. Yeah, I love this. I would knit this again. Yep. In my notes, I said there were some minor errors that I was able to figure out. but I think it might have just been mistranslation or something. I cast this on July 3rd, and I finished this July 11th. And yeah, even though it's a bit bright, I still really love this. This was definitely one of my other favorite summer tees. I feel like I was happy with this. This was a good knit. And I wore this quite a bit as well this past summer. On my photos, it just looks off. My photos are, I think this is a true color to what this is in real life. And yeah, I just enjoyed knitting with color again this year. I feel like, yeah. Before I talk about this one, I'll just talk about the Vega Tee that I was just talking about. I have quite a few lay knit summer patterns, and I very much intend to make a couple of them this year. So as much as I would like to make the Vega Tee again, I'll probably do a few of her other summer knits. She has the Gabby blouse, which I love, and I want to make that. It's been in my queue forever. And then there's the Julian Tee, which is also Lena, and it has like these single stripes. I have that pattern. I was going to knit it this past year, and I just didn't get around to it. But yeah, so yeah, she has some gorgeous summer knits, and I have every intention of making a bunch of them this 2026. All right, this next project is not been a favorite. So this is the Ivy Tee, which is a pattern from Petite Knit. And overall, I feel like, Petite Knit's patterns are always, they're always a hit. There's like, I've never really found a pattern from Petite Knit that is a miss. And I just didn't really like this. And I don't know what it is about this. So I will go back a little bit. It is a little long, and I feel like maybe I might go back in. It actually reaches way past my hips. And I think I want to go back in and do like a fold it down, and seam it down. Maybe that will kind of give me a little bit more enjoyment in this knit, and probably the sleeves as well. But the yarn that I used is Woolberry Fiber Co-Berry Linen, which is, it's linen, alpaca, and silk. And I just feel like I don't know what it is about this. I just don't like how the sleeve fits. And again, it could have been that, my body changed this past year and it doesn't fit how it's supposed to fit. But I love the color. It's a very soft pastel-y, in between pink and purple. The name of the colorway is, what was the name of this colorway? I don't remember. I don't remember what the name of this color was, but I do like the color. I don't think that it's like too pale for me. My skin's brown, so I feel like I could wear this color just fine and be fine. Maybe I could fold the sleeves in as well, and I don't know. Maybe I'll try that, because I really like this. It was mostly mindless once you got past like the shoulder construction and you split for the sleeves and then you join. Am I saying that right? Once you join at the underarm, it's just stuck in it for miles and miles and miles. So it was mindless for the most part when I needed a mindless knit. And I don't know. I wouldn't knit the Ivy Tee again. I don't think I'd knit it again. There are other fingering weight tees out there that I would much rather knit. And yeah, I would like to knit the Ivy Tank. I've seen a few podcasters share that in their roundup. And I like the look of that, I think, a bit more. Even though I don't really wear sleeveless too much, I feel like I could wear like a t-shirt underneath it and it would be a cute summer fit. So I have mixed feelings about this. I think the yarn plays a big part of that. And yeah, this is the Ivy Tee. from Testknit, and I used Woolberry Berry Linen, which is a fingering weight yarn. And I think the edge on this also doesn't, it is just a cast on. And I feel like if I go back in and maybe add a 2-stitch I-cord, even though, like I said, it's barely there, it might just elevate it a tiny bit more for me. But there are a few things I do want to fix about this. I don't want to frog it. I want to keep it, but I want to figure out what about this is not to my liking, I suppose. Yeah, that's Ivy Tee from Testknit. I'll move on to the next one. And this is another Testknit pattern. And because of my t-shirt underneath, it's kind of making all of these garments I try on over top kind of look weird, but this really needs very little introduction. This is the Cumulus Tee from Testknit, and I loved this. Yeah, this is my second Cumulus Tee, and I would make it again. Why not? It is such a basic staple, and it's a Cumulus Tee. You know, I don't really need to say anything else. If you knit, you know the Cumulus Tee. You probably have one. You've probably made one. And I would make it again. I knit this using Sisleray. I hope that is right because that's how I keep saying it. Sisleray Merino Silk in the colorway Hell's Gala Dress. I did some modifications to this. When I bound off, I'm pretty sure you bind off with some decreases. I did not do as many decreases as written in the pattern because I did not like how it cinches in, and I very much prefer this to be like very open at the hem. And I also used a 2-stitch I-cord. That was kind of a theme for me this past year when it came to I-cords. I used 2 stitches on my I-cord edges. So this, the neck, it's very, 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 very minimal. And on the cuff as well, there is a 2-stitch I-cord, and on this side and on the hem. Like, it doesn't even look like it's there. It's like, what's the point? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I started this August 1st and I finished this August 18th because I really just knit exclusively on this because I wanted a pink Cumulus Tee in my closet and I got one. The merino silk was a really, really nice yarn. I love this. So I think it's 50% merino, 50% silk. And the last Cumulus Tee that I made, I also used Sisleray's silk, 100% silk. And that is a really nice fiber and fabric, but I find that it just doesn't pill, but it looks like it's pilling very easily, but it's not. It just, the way it like, I don't know if you could see, there's a little bit of the pilling here, but on the pure silk, it's like a little bit more than that. This is very minimal, but on the pure silk, it's just quite a bit more. So I really love this yarn. I want to use it again. I would make this tee again, probably in a different yarn. But I do love this yarn a lot, the merino silk from Sisleray, and I would use that yarn 100% again. Yeah, that's it for the Cumulus Tee. I feel like it really doesn't need a whole lot of talking about because everyone and their mom has made one. I will keep it on because the next thing I have is another knit for my son, my younger son. And this is a Sandnes Garn pattern. Surprise, surprise. This is the Caspian Slipover Jr. And this came out... Oh, okay. I started this January 28th and I finished this August 29th. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. I did start this early in the year for him, and I did finish it later in the year for him. And this is a really cute all over cable and texture slipover, and I used Petite Knit Double Sunday in the colorway Matcha. I really enjoyed this color. I made my Millie tee with this, and then this one for my son. He's worn it a few times. I have a couple of cute pictures of him in it, and yeah, it's just a top down drop shoulder cable and texture slipover, and I love it. And it would actually, I could probably squeeze into this too. But I won't. I don't want to stretch it out. Yeah, and it's finished with 2x2 rib, and then you do the switch to 1x1, and then the Italian bind off. And I did it on all the armholes and the body, but I did a folded neck for the collar. I think I just knitted it according to pattern. My moss stitch, not moss stitch, moss stitch? Yes, moss stitch, double moss stitch. I messed up quite a few times, and I really couldn't be bothered to go fix it. So you might be able to see where there's like a mess up if you look really close. And here, there's one I could definitely see right here. There's mess up right here. But honestly, it's fine. It's not that big a deal, and who cares? He doesn't. The next thing I finished, I also started at the beginning of the year. I started this in February, on February 3rd, and I finished it September 12th. Now we're getting into my fall knits. And this, I shared some thoughts about this pattern. I knitted this with Sandnes Garn Ballerina Chunky Mohair and Sandnes Garn Cuss, which is the recommended yarn. This is a pattern from Sandnes Garn. Did I say that? This is the Harper Cardigan, which was released at the beginning of 2025. It is, I'm fairly certain it was at the beginning of 2025. Yes, because they also released a vest that I also want to make. We'll get to that. All right, so this is an all over cable and texture and fisherman's rib pattern. So the sleeve is fisherman's rib. It might be kind of hard to see because of the texture of the yarn. And then there are these gorgeous cables, giant cables running down. These big cables here, and then these smaller cables on the side. And then there is the double moss stitch at the back. Is it double moss stitch? I can't even remember, bro. Yes, it is double moss stitch. Okay, so I shared some feelings about this pattern. I really love this pattern, first of all. Let me just say that straight up. The pattern itself is lovely. I think the sleeves, you go down. So the body of the cardigan is knitted on 5mm needles, US 8, 5mm needles. And then the sleeve, you knit on 3.5mm needles. And it's also with 2 bulky weight yarns held together. Cuss and Ballerina Chunky Mohair. Okay, not bulky weight. It creates kind of a bulky fabric. And then you're doing the fisherman's rib. It really hurt my hands. That's why I ended up finishing it in September. I did one of the sleeves. I remember like finishing one of the sleeves like in March or something. Finishing the body really quickly. And then the sleeves in March, one sleeve in March. And then I was like, I can't do this. And also look, like it's like fall. Like this color is fall. I mean, I would wear this all year round. I really don't care that it is a fall color. I would wear this like all year round, regardless of what color it is. But yeah, it was hurting my hands too much knitting on the sleeve, so I decided to just put it down, leave it alone, and then just come back to it like later in the year, which I did. And I'm really happy with it. Like, the length of the sleeve could be a little bit longer, but I was just done. I was like, I don't want to knit any more of this. So I just finished it off, and I just have to just tug it down if I want it to like reach where I want it to actually reach. But you know, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. The finished object is lovely. Like, I love this. And I have these cute little toggle buttons that I added on. And yeah, I'm just really happy with this overall, aside from the sleeves. So they have a vest. I want to make the vest, which works out because then I don't have to knit a bunch of sleeves with half fisherman's rib. Anyway, in my notes, I put that I could have gone up like to 4 or even 4.5 millimeter needles. And I feel like I would have gotten the length that I wanted. I still have some yarn left, so I feel like I would have had enough yarn if I'd gone up to the 4.5 millimeter needles or 4, and it would have been fine. So that's my only issue with this pattern. And yeah, that's it. This is the Harper Cardigan from Sandnes Garn. I knitted it according to pattern, but if I were to knit it again, which I would not knit the sleeves according to their pattern instructions. And I do want to knit it again without sleeves. So that's the plan at some point. The next thing that I have, so you'll see trend here. The next thing that I have is a sweater that I finished for my daughter, my youngest. And this is the Bonnie cable sweater. It's an all-over cable sweater, top down, 2x2 rib. I started this February 1st, 2024. Yes, February 1st, 2024. And I finished this September 13th, 2025. And if you know anything about children, you know that they grow. I don't know why it took me so long, but it did. It's done. And it barely fits her. Oh my gosh. I don't know what is wrong with me sometimes. Like, I knitted the whole body. I'm pretty sure I knitted the whole body in like 2024. Right? I don't know. My Ravelry is not that in-depth. And I knitted one sleeve, and then I just dropped it. And then sometime over the summer, going into fall, I was like, I should probably finish this because she probably won't be able to wear it for very long. But honestly, I'm not going to go back and frog this, or if anything, I can add some length to it and it'll fit her fine. It's just the length. The sleeves are a good length for her. It's the length in the body that doesn't really fit her. But if she's wearing like it over a dress, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, she loves this, except it's like just perfectly her size now. I use Sandnes Garn Sunday and Sandnes Garn Alpakka Folgetrad in the colorway 4315 Bubblegum. That was the Bonnie cable sweater, which is a pattern from Sandnes Garn that came out in 2024. Junior, Bonnie Cable Junior. I knitted the Bonnie Cable adult version for myself, the worsted weight version, in 2024 or 3. And I wanted to make a matching one, semi-matching one for her. That is why I cast this on and didn't finish it. I don't know why I didn't finish it in time for it to fit her. But anyway, that's done. That's done. It's a cute pattern. It's very straightforward. One cable, you do the cable on the same row every cable row round, and then it's a 2x1 rib. The adult version has a 2x2 rib, and it's almost identical, except instead of a 2x1 rib that the kids have, it's a 2x2 rib. But yeah, it's identical. All right, moving on to my next finished object, and I shall put that on right now, and that is another Sandnes Garn pattern. And this is the Mindy Sweater Chunky Edition from Sandnes Garn. I used Sandnes Garn tin pair gint held double with Alpakka Folgetrad. And I knit this according to pattern, except I think I did my neck folded instead of how they had theirs. I can't remember if theirs is folded or not. Okay, I love this. I love this. I love this. Did I say I love this? I love this. I wore this a ton, that it's like pilling a bit, and it might be hard to see, but like there's some pilling on this inside of the sleeve, and on this side too. There's a little bit, but yeah, when I finished this off, I washed it, I blocked it, and I put it on. And I don't think I took it off. Yeah, so I started this on September 12th, and I finished this September 29th. This was one of their fall patterns. I'm pretty sure. I think they have another version that is a DK weight version that I also want to make. So yeah, I would make this again. Like 10/10, I'd make this again. I actually want to make this again, but I feel like I just finished this. I don't want to knit this right away because I have other things I want to work on. But I would make this again as like a straight basic stockinette sweater. This is such a classic design. It's a European drop shoulder. You do this lovely seam at the back, which I love. A lot of their Sandnes Garn patterns, I just love that when they have that in the back there. That shoulder construction, I love it. And then it's 2x2 rib. And I finished this in fall, like I said, and I called this my Christmas sweater because I didn't think I'd get around to making myself a Christmas sweater, and I didn't. But I did wear this to like my kids' Christmas concert, and I love this. I love it. It's peak holiday, like my kids would say. And then I did a folded collar. I can't remember if it's folded or not. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Okay. Moving on. Nothing else to say. Hands down, a favorite. I love everything about this. Would make it again. Have every intention of making it again, probably this year. The only thing I did do differently is that I used tin pure gint held double instead of pure gint held single, because at the time I really wanted this red, and when I bought it from Garntopia, which is where I bought a lot of my patterns from this past year, Sandnes Garn, they didn't have this color in pure gint, so I just used the same quantity of tin pure gint as I would pure gint. So it was like 10 balls of tin pure gint. Let me double check. Yes, I used 10 balls of tin pure gint, and I think the pure gint was also 10 balls. So it evens up. I'm going to keep this on because the next thing I have is a sweater that I made for my husband, and yes, it's a Sandnes Garn pattern. This is the Matthew sweater. Man by Sandnes Garn. I'm holding it upside down. Hold on. Is a drop shoulder construction zipper sweater that I love. I love this. I love this. I love this. So I love this. He doesn't really love this because it is pure Ghent and he finds it a little bit scratchy, which is fair. Like, not everyone feels the same way about all the yarns. So it's mine now. It doesn't quite fit me. I mean, I guess I could put it on. I guess I'll just put it on. This is a dress on me. You can't see me all the way back here. It's a dress. It covers my butt. And the sleeves are like, oh no, actually. Okay, yeah. I still really love this. Like, making this sweater really inspired me to want to knit all the zipper things, all the zipper sweaters. And I might have cast on a sweater that has a zipper construction a few days ago. I'll talk about that in my January video probably. But yeah, I just really, I enjoyed making this. It did take a while. I started June 1st and I finished October 17th. And his birthday is like a few days before that. So I knew I would take a while, which is why I started so much earlier in the year. But this is one of the patterns that they came out with for men this past year, I think. And there are a few patterns in there that I want to make. I would make this again, but I feel like there's a few other zipper patterns that I would like to make. So I would rather try a different pattern, a different zipper pattern. But I really like this. The construction was a little bit confusing and there were corrections in the pattern. So if you are interested in making this, I would look on the website under the pattern on Sandnes Garn and see if there are any corrections and just double check that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I feel like the construction for the zipper was different and a little confusing. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in making the sweater. I used Sandnes Garn Pure Ghent, like I said, and the color is 5575, and this is almost 1 kilo of yarn. I used 18 balls of Pure Ghent. So is that almost a kilo? Or am I losing my mind? I could be losing my mind. I probably am. Probably have already. Okay. Yeah. The next thing that I made is one of the very few accessories that I made this year, and it is, yes, a Sandnes Garn design. I have the ends here that I don't want to cut because I want to go back in and remove it and fix the I-cord because they're coming apart. I'm just going to pull it out and fix it at another date. But I really enjoyed this. This was literally just a day project. I knitted this with their new cashmere yarn that is just really, really lovely. And yeah, I would definitely use this yarn again. I wouldn't make this particular pattern again because I realize I'm not much of a headscarf person. This is a headscarf. I'm not a headscarf person. And I'm not much of a scarf person, but I do think I want to try scarves, wearing scarves this year. And I will try. I have plans for a couple of scarves for later this year. And I really want to try to like wear them. Not just to make them, but headscarves, not so much. I don't think I'm a headscarf person. I'm going to see if I can put this on. It's not tied. It's just sitting on the top of my head. But yeah, I don't know that headscarves really work for me. I don't like it. No, not for me. So I did try this on as a bandana scarf, and I like that a lot better. So yes, I would wear this as a bandana. But overall, I don't think I am a headscarf person, so I wouldn't make headscarves again. I don't know. I might take that back. Who knows? I don't know. I'm always changing my mind. The next thing, and it is the ridge sweater. Yes, a Sandnes Garn pattern. And this is one of my favorite knits for 2025. Like this, I saw this pattern when they released it in the fall, and I said, I am making that, and I made it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I love this. I love this. I wore it a ton. It's definitely got a ton of wear, and my older daughter also wore this a ton. She wore it before I even got to wear it. Before I even washed and blocked it, she grabbed it and threw it on and went out the door. This is the ridge sweater. I knitted this with Peer Gynt in the colorway 2564, which is the brown. And then the colorwork is done in ballerina chunky mohair held double, and I used the colorway. I don't have the colorway here, but it is the color on the sample that they advertised. I did not knit this according to pattern. I feel like I knitted one ridge short because I feel like I was knitting a little bit off gauge, and my sleeve was already getting really long. So I said, if this is already where the sleeve's going to hit me, and on the sample there's one more ridge, and there are 14 rows, or give or take, in between each of the ridges, I will be drowning. My arms will be drowning in this sweater. So I went ahead and I finished with the last ridge before doing one more ridge. And then I did the 2x2 rib, and then the switching to the 1x1 rib, and then the Italian bind off. I love this sweater. I like no bad things. Would knit again, and I want to knit it again. I wanted to knit. One of my winter plans was the child's version for my son, which it's not knitted with Peer Gynt. It is knitted with Double Sunday in the same color that I have the same color in the Double Sunday, and brushed alpaca for the ridges, and in white. So brown and white. So we kind of have a matchy-ish sweater. And I probably will knit that a little off gauge. I've come to the realization that for patterns that I'm making for him, their patterns go up to 14. And he wears 14 to 16. And so I will go up half a needle size so that I can make it a little off gauge on a little bit larger gauge, and so that he has room to grow and he can wear it for a while. So that's my plan for that. So yes, that is a plan. It's already set aside. I already have it planned and ready to make. I just need the time to cast on and start on it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more things to share, and I am going on an hour and a half, but I will probably cut some of this out. This is what is this? This is the Sweet Pea Dress Jr for my youngest, and I knitted this according to pattern with Cos, and I'm pretty sure this is the same brown, is it? I think it's the same brown. Monk's Robe. This is Monk's Robe. What color number is this? Doesn't have a color number. Okay, so I knitted this for my daughter, my youngest. I knitted the size 8. She wears 6. And it comes just below her knees, which is cute. I love it. It's an all-over lace, like, I'm pretty sure I've done this lace work from Sandnes Garn before. This motif, rather. I did mess up a bit with the increases. I printed my pattern because I got it as a PDF from Garntopia. My printer was a little off. So it didn't print one of the increases like at the very, very end of the paper. And so I missed doing an increase before the last lace motif. And I just ended up just fudging it and adding the amount of stitches I needed to add after I completed that. When I realized I was off, I was missing a bunch of stitches. That's okay. It fits her perfectly fine. And she has a little bit of room to grow. It has a little bit of room to grow for her. So at the end of the day, it's a cute little dress. She loves it. She's worn it quite a few times. And I love it still, despite the mistakes. It's getting dark, so I will try to hurry up. The next thing that I made is the Vienna Blouse for my older daughter who turned 17 in December. And I made this not according to pattern, not quite according to pattern, but I followed the basic instructions. I messed up quite a bit on this design, and I talked about it in my last 2 episodes. So if you want to hear about that, you can go revisit that. I don't want to hash that out again, but it's a top-down, it's the Vienna Blouse. Did I say that? The Vienna Blouse from Sandnes Garn. From their pattern booklet, when they had booklets, 2302-02. I am still not happy about the fact that their patterns are individually sold now. But that is neither here nor there. This is a saddle shoulder construction, and this was really fun. You're supposed to knit this with Sunday and tin silk mohair. I used double Sunday, and I didn't have enough of that, but I had Sunday in the same color, different dye lot, and I ended up using that to finish off the peplum of this. I picked up way too many stitches for the peplum. You can't really tell. It just looks very flowy. But it works. It still works. And at the end of the day, she really likes this. And I really like this. And that's that. I did I-cord edges at the cuff and the end of the peplum because I didn't really want to do a folded cuff like you're supposed to do. And anything else to say about this? No, that's it. I would make this again. I want to make this again. And I do want to make it into recommended yarn because it's a blouse. It's meant to be flowy. And not that this isn't flowy and drapey, but I feel like with Sunday and tin silk mohair, it would definitely drape a lot better and flow a lot better. But really enjoyed this pattern construction. I really had fun knitting this, and I started this November 14th and I finished this November 26th, and I forgot to talk about the others, but that's okay. We can move on. 2 more sweaters, 2 more garments, and both of them are for my girls, so I will talk about them. The first thing that I have is the Cookie Parade sweater, which is one of the most favorite things I've ever made. Okay, this is a drops pattern. I like their patterns. I know a lot of people don't care for their patterns because they find them lacking. That's a lot of designers, yarn companies. That's just how they do it. So it's really just following the chart, just getting the stitch count and following the chart, and that's what I did. I did not knit this on gauge at all. I knitted this with double Sunday from Sandnes Garn and Alpakka wool. The red is the Alpakka wool, and the other colors, the white and the brown, is double Sunday. And I love this. I love this. Like, I've been making her a Christmas sweater every year for the past 4 or 5 years, and I had to make this one. I love it. The only thing I really did differently from the pattern is that I did the corrugated rib on the sleeve ribbing cuffs, and I just loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was very enjoyable. It was very meditative, and I would do it again. And I do want to make this pattern again, maybe at some point in the distant future. Yes, so this is knitted off gauge. I made the size 9 to 10, even though she is size 6, because I want this to fit her for as long as possible. And it is getting dark, and I'm going to wrap up very quickly because let's see if I could finish in 6 minutes. The next thing that I made is a birthday gift. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. It's a pair of gloves for my daughter, fingerless gloves. And I'm not going to try it on because I'm not going to try it on, but they're really cute. They are adorable. This is a pattern from Stone Knits, and I used Arvata, Filcolana Arvata for the main color, the brown, and then I used a bunch of scraps that I had in my stash. So the green, the beige, the red are Sandnes Garn Sunday. The red might be the Purgant. Yes, the red is the Purgant from my Mindy sweater that I was wearing before this. And then the white is also some Filcolana Arvata. But a fun pattern. I want to make a lot of Stone Knits designs. I just love her colorwork motifs. They're very classic and whimsical, and it's my aesthetic. So yes, I want to make more of her designs. The next accessory that I have is a weekend beanie or weekend hat from Testknit, and I made this for my younger son as a Christmas gift, and I used some leftover double Sunday that I had from some sweaters that I made a few years ago, and I love this. My youngest has stolen this and been wearing this, not my son, so my daughter has been wearing this. The last thing that I made is a Christmas gift that I finished at the end of the year for my older daughter. And I test knitted the Calgary base sweater. I'll insert pictures here of the finished garment, but it's for my daughter. It's not gonna, I don't want to squeeze into it. So yeah, this is an all over reverse half fisherman's rib. Henley, is that what you call this? And I had so much fun knitting this. I knitted the size 1 because I made it for my daughter for Christmas. And I knitted this with Cos from Sandnes Garn in Marzipan, I think is the color. It's one of the first neutral colors that they have. It's not porcelain. I think it's Marzipan. And then I held it together with Alpakka lace from Export Knits and Fibers in the color Lavendula. So I finished this on the very last day of the year. Yay. But it was a test knit, like I said, for Kokomore Knit. I want to make this again. I have a swatch that I want to make for myself. I already made the swatch. It was the initial swatch that I ended up not going with, but I do want to make it for myself. So at some point, I will make it. And it was Export Knits and Fibers, Suri, and DK. And I met Gage, so I was happy with that, and I will make that. But I made this for my daughter. She chose the Suri. I gave her a few options, and that was the color that she picked. It's a very subtle, variegated neutral, but it's got like a wintry vibe to it, and it's really cute, and I love it, and I want to make this. I had fun knitting this. I had fun test knitting this. Just really, overall, a really great experience. And I might change the buttons. I don't know. Like, I feel like they might be a bit too warm for this, but I don't know. I'm happy with this. I'm fine. If she wants it changed, she can get the buttons and I'll change it. But yeah, I think that is it for my 2025 makes. It is getting dark. Probably should have turned on a light before. starting, so in case this happened. Let's see. Yeah, I enjoyed what I made. Like I said, I am content. That was my word of the year, because there's a lot that happened in 2025, and I don't really want to go into it too much, but just health problems and stuff. And then a move, and my kids being away for the summer, and yeah, life has just been challenging, and I don't want to spiral. So I knitted a lot less than I wanted to, but I am happy with what I made. I am so happy with what I ended up finishing for 2025. I knitted a lot for my kids. I made a garment for my husband. And everyone loved the things that they received. Going into 2026, I feel like the only goals that I really want to possibly achieve is knitting more accessories. I am telling myself that every month I'm going to try to work and finish one accessory and start putting it towards Christmas. I have already finished one accessory for 2026. It's mine, but the plan going forward is to make an accessory a month and put that toward a Christmas pile to gift at the end of the year. And then I think make more kids knits for my kids. Although I make adult size versions for my older kids, but yeah, I do want to make more kids garments and accessories and color work. I have a few things already on my plate that's color work that I brought into 21 specific, and then there's another one that I want to cast on really soon. But those are the three things really that I hope to just get done in 2026. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I apologize that the lighting has gone from super bright to super dark, and there's nothing really I can do about it. It is 4:45. At least it's not cloudy and rainy. So that's it. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. It would mean so much to me, and it would just motivate me to keep making videos and keep putting my knits out there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you found some inspiration. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out or leave a comment in the comments below, and I will do my best to respond. And I would love to know, what was your favorite knit of 2025? Please share that with me as well. And I wish you health and happiness in the new year. Happy New Year and happy knitting. Bye.